Have you ever looked at yourself, and wondered, if you were simply meant to be ordinary, if the dreams you carried, were too big, for someone like you? I have. And today, I want to take you back, to the days that almost broke me, but instead, made me. I was a secondary school student, full of life, full of energy. But inside the classroom that was a different story. While some of my classmates seemed to understand everything with ease, I struggled. Tests came and went, and my results told the same story every single time. Average. Always, average. It wasn't just one bad result. It was many. One after another, like a chain around my neck. I would go home, look at my books, and feel nothing but heaviness. What was the point of trying, if trying never seemed to work? But there was one person who never stopped believing in me. My mother. Every evening, she would come to my room, sit beside me, and speak words that somehow found their way past all my doubt. She would say, "My child, God did not make you to be less. He made you for greatness. And I am praying for the day you see it in yourself." But even with her words, there were nights when the doubt grew louder than everything else. Nights when I sat alone, and a voice inside me whispered, "Maybe this is just who you are. Maybe average is your destiny. Maybe some people are just not meant to be great." And for a moment, I almost believed it. But then, something happened deep within me. A fire. Small at first, but growing. Something inside me rose up and said, "No. Not today. Not ever. I refuse to accept this as my story. I refuse to let failure write the ending of my life." That night, I made a decision. A decision that would change everything. I decided that day, that I was going to give everything I had. Not for my teachers. Not even for my parents. But for myself. I was going to study like I had never studied before. I was going to be intentional. I was going to be focused. And above everything else, I was going to trust God with the results. It was on one of those heavy walks home, when the weight of failure sat on my shoulders like a stone, that I saw him. An old man. Moving slowly down the road, pushing a wooden cart piled high with fruits. He had clearly come a long way, his steps were tired, his back slightly bent. Something in me forgot my own sadness for a moment. And I ran to him. We walked together slowly, him telling me about his morning at the market, me listening quietly. When we finally reached his home, a modest but warm little house with a garden full of green, he turned to me and smiled. "Thank you, my child," he said. "You have a kind heart." And just as I turned to continue my sad walk home, he stopped me. He looked at me, the way only the very old can look at you. Like they can see past your face, past your words, all the way into what you're really feeling. He said, "Your feet are moving forward, my boy, but your heart seems to be walking in a different direction. What is troubling you? I don't know why, but I told him everything. About my results. About my classmates who seemed to find it all so easy. About the voice inside me that kept saying, maybe you are just meant to be average. Maybe this is your ceiling. I told him all of it, and when I finished, he was quiet for a long moment. Then he smiled, and said, "Come. Walk with me into my garden. I have something to tell you." We sat under an old tree in his garden. The afternoon light filtered softly through the leaves. And there, in that quiet peaceful place, he began to tell me, a story. A story about a young boy, not so different from me. Many years ago, in a small quiet town, nestled between the mountains, there lived a young boy named Kenji. Kenji had dreamed of becoming a great warrior since the day he could walk. He had joined the finest karate dojo in his village, training every day alongside students who seemed to grow stronger, faster, and sharper, with every passing week. But Kenji felt like he was standing still, while the others broke boards. Kenji's hands barely made a mark, while the others moved like water. Kenji stumbled like stone. He trained harder than anyone, arrived earliest, left latest, and yet the results never seemed to match the effort. His classmates began to whisper. Some laughed quietly when they thought he couldn't hear. And slowly, Kenji began to believe what they thought of him. But there was one person watching. The master. An old man, quiet as still water, but sharp as the edge of a blade. He had seen many students come and go. He had seen talent walk through his doors, and he had seen something far more rare. And in Kenji, he saw not strength, not speed, but something burning quietly beneath all that doubt. Something that refused to fully die. One evening, after all the other students had gone home, the master walked slowly to where Kenji sat alone. He sat beside him, and for a long moment, said nothing. Then he spoke. Kenji, he said, tell me. Why do you train? Kenji looked up, surprised. Because no one had ever asked him that before. Not his parents nor his fellow students. Not even himself. He thought for a long moment, and then he said, because I want to be strong, master. I want to be the best. But I am not sure I can be. I am not sure I have what it takes. The master nodded slowly. Then he said something Kenji would never forget. He said, Kenji, the other students train with their bodies. But you must learn to train with something deeper. Strength without discipline is just energy wasted. Speed without focus is just movement without direction. But a warrior who learns to discipline his mind, to focus his spirit, to show up every single day not because he feels strong, but because he has decided to, that warrior becomes something no one can defeat. Not even himself. From that evening, Kenji changed. Not overnight. Not in a week. But slowly, steadily, like a stone being carved by water. He trained with new eyes. Not comparing himself to others anymore, but measuring himself only against who he was yesterday. He prayed before every session. He studied every technique with patience and intention. He fell, and rose, fell again and rose again. Every single time. Then came the day of the great clan tournament. Every dojo in the region had sent their finest students. The air was thick with tension. And there, stepping onto the fighting floor, was Kenji. The same boy who had once sat at the edge of a dojo, convinced he was not enough. He looked different now. Not just in skill, but in spirit. There was something in his eyes. Something unshakable. That day, Kenji fought like a warrior reborn. Every move precise. Every strike intentional. Every fall met with an immediate rise. And when the final match ended, and the judge raised his hand, the crowd fell silent for one breathless moment. Then erupted. Because standing in the center of that floor, was not the weakest student of his dojo. It was its greatest champion. And as his master stepped forward, and bowed to him, Kenji understood. The master had never doubted him. Not for a single day. He had simply been waiting for Kenji to stop doubting himself. The old man finished his story and looked at me. I realized my eyes were wet. I hadn't even noticed the tears. He placed his hand gently on my shoulder and said, "That boy Kenji, he was real." And the master's words were real. Discipline and determination are not things you are born with, my child. They are things you decide. Every single morning. You decide. I thanked him. And when I walked away from that garden, I was not the same boy who had walked in. My feet still moved in the same direction. But my heart was walking somewhere completely new. And so it began. Every morning, I woke up early and studied. Every evening, I studied. While others played, I studied. While others rested, I revised. It wasn't easy. There were moments when my eyes were heavy, when my mind felt full, when I wanted to close the books and walk away. But I kept going. Because I had made a promise to myself, and I was not going to break it. And my mother, my precious mother, she never stopped. Every night I could hear her, praying for me, calling my name before God, asking for wisdom to find me, for understanding to fill me, for success to locate me. Her prayers became the fuel behind my determination. Then the day came. Exam day. I walked into that hall, carrying everything I had poured into those weeks of preparation. My heart was beating fast, but my mind was clear. I sat down, said a quiet prayer, and began. For the first time in a long time, I felt ready. After the exams, came the hardest part. The waiting. Days passed. Then weeks. Every morning I woke up wondering, did I do enough? Was it enough? Had all those late nights, all those prayers, all that sacrifice, been enough? I didn't know. All I could do was wait and trust. And then, the results came. I remember walking toward that notice board, my legs feeling heavy, and my heart pounding so loud I could hear it. My eyes scanned the list, searching, and then I saw it. My name. At the very top. First position. I stood there, frozen. Unable to move. Unable to speak. Because for the first time in my academic life, I was not average. I was first. I ran home that day like my feet had wings. I burst through that door, and the first person I looked for was my mother. When I told her, I watched something happen on her face that I will never forget for as long as I live. And then she held me, so tightly, like she had always known this moment was coming, and had simply been waiting for me to find it. Then came the prize-giving day. I walked onto that stage, and as they called my name, I looked into the crowd, and found her face immediately. My mother. Standing. Clapping. Tears on her cheeks. Pride in her eyes. And in that moment, something washed over me that I cannot fully put into words. It wasn't just happiness. It wasn't just pride. It was something deeper, something warmer, something that reached all the way into my chest and squeezed gently. For the first time, I truly understood what a mother's love feels like. It feels like someone believing in you before you believed in yourself. It feels like prayers whispered in the dark, becoming victories celebrated in the light. Every late night, every moment of doubt, every tear I had ever cried over a bad result, was worth it. Every single one. Looking back today, I understand something that took me years to learn. Motivation is a feeling. It comes and goes like the wind. You cannot build a life on feelings alone. But determination is a decision. It is a choice you make every single morning, even when you don't feel like it. Even when the results aren't there yet. Even when the voice inside says give up. That is where greatness is born. Not in the feeling, but in the decision to keep going anyway. So let me ask you something, before this video ends. What have you been putting off, because you didn't feel motivated enough? What dream have you been waiting to start, until the conditions felt right? Stop waiting for motivation. Make the decision today. Be intentional. Be focused. Trust God with the results. And never, ever, accept average as your final destination. See you in the next video.